Good day everyone, and to Doc Melo. For chapter 12, we will be talking about or discussing about enhancing decision making in information systems. Presented by yours truly, Ina Maris Leal, and together with me is Mr. Marco Paulo Cruz. As for the course intended learning outcomes after this chapter, we should be able to describe different types of decisions and the decision making process, assess how information systems support the activities of managers and management in decision making, and lastly, demonstrate how the decision making support system or DSS differ from MIS and how they provide value to the business. So we have a problem here. Chain retailers such as Starbucks and Duane Reade need to determine what products will sell at what prices and at what or at different locations. So these are the possible solutions. So we have here the business analytics software to analyze patterns in sales data, create pricing profiles and buyer profiles for different regions, locales, and even times of day. Number 2, demonstrates the use of business intelligence and analysis systems to improve sales and profits. And number 3, illustrates how information systems improve decision making. So actually, hindi ko kilala si Duane Reade, so Starbucks tayo. So each store kasi, bukod dun sa mga bestseller coffee nila and pastries, meron din talagang kailangan na mag-stand out or may nag-stand out talagang products. So with that, malalaman natin, or with the system, malalaman natin kung ano ba dapat yung i-front or yung parang nakalabas sa or nakaharap doon sa area or display area, and also malaman din natin kung ano yung mga dapat i-order with n number or kung ano yung dapat mas maraming i-order bukod sa versus sa konti ang i-order. In relation naman sa ating sa current job ko, which is the marketing department or admissions office ng WCC, it is also part of the planning later on after the campaign or the enrollment period. Kailangan natin malaman per course and kung saang area ba siya nagki-click and what type of people or what type of social class ang majorities per course. So with the system, napapadali po yung paghahanap natin or pag-analyze ng data. Improving hundreds of thousands of small decisions adds up to a large annual value for the business. There are actually 3 types of decisions. We have the unstructured, structured, and semi-structured. So for the unstructured, decision maker must provide judgment, evaluation, and insight to solve the problem. As for the structured, repetitive and routine involve definite procedure for handling, so they do not have to be treated each time as new. As for the semi-structured naman, only part of the problem has a clear-cut answer provided by accepted procedure. So para mas maintindihan natin, ito po yung types of people that make decisions in an organizational chart. So simulan po natin sa baba, which is the operational managers, rank and file employees. So ito po yung mga sa kabatch ko po. So most of the rank and file employees, they are the ones who make more structured decisions. For example, does the customer meet criteria for credit? So in relation po as an admission officer or marketing staff in WCC, as a rank and file employee, it is my task po or duty to criticize the student. Honestly, we criticize students, especially for the aviation courses po. Because as we all know, aviation courses is quite expensive. So, we tend to stalk po the profile of the student, especially if nagme-message sila sa messenger. And of course, isa na po doon kung walk-in naman po, tinitignan na namin we tend to ask questions na makakapag-rule out if they are able to pay the tuition fee for aviation programs. So the next decision maker naman po are the middle managers. They make more structured decisions, but this may include unstructured components as well. For example, why is the order fulfillment report showing decline in the Minneapolis? So in our organizational chart, sila po yung madalas na nangungulit kung bakit nag-decline yung student or bakit napunta sa ibang school yung student na yon. Then lastly, we have the senior managers which make many unstructured decisions. Example, should we start or should we enter a new market? So with the decision being made po per tao sa isang organizational chart, tsaka yung per result na nagagather nila doon sa mga questions na yon, it will then be used later on to improve or maybe to add a new service or in this case course or yung mga yun nga po sa senior managers kung dapat bang mag-start ng panibagong market or ng business. So para mas maintindihan pa po natin lalo ang mga difference between the characteristics of decision making and for those who make them, we have here yung sa structured characteristic natin which is being done by the rank and file. So, example ng mga decision nila is to determine the overtime eligibility, restock inventory, offer credit to the customers, and determine special offers to the customers. So, yan yung mga basic practice and basic decision making sa baba. So, moving on to the semi-structured naman which is middle management naman po yung gumagawa nito. So, for the examples of decisions that they are making, so ito yung design a marketing plan, develop a departmental budget, and design new corporate website. So, minor, hindi siya kalakihan ng desisyon, but hindi rin siya kaliitan ng desisyon. So, in the middle lang po talaga siya. And lastly, we have the unstructured decision or characteristic, which is being done or will be done by the senior management or the higher management. And ang example ng decision na ginagawa nila is to decide the entrance or exit from markets, approve capital budget, and decide long-term goals. So mostly sila na po yung mga big bosses natin sa taas. So these are the 4 stages of decision-making process. We have here the intelligence, the design, the choice, and the implementation. So if you can still remember back in the day, meron tayong tinatawag na scientific method. So may similarity sila. So first of all, the intelligence. So this is where we identified the problem na. Sabi nga nila, once you have identified the problem, half of it is being solved na. Syempre nga naman, kung hindi mo na-identify, so then walang problem. So moving on to the second step, which is the design. In the scientific method, sila po yung formulating the hypothesis. So, dito sa description na to, they are identifying and exploring solutions to the problem. But, so yun nga po, series of questions is being asked, and at the same time, series of solution is being jot down as well. So, we were going to try this and that. These are the what-ifs po kasi. Yun po yung hypothesis. So, the next step is choice. So, once na nakapili na kayo ng best solution during that step number 2, of course, you have to decide or choose among the solutions na na-provide nyo. So, kung anong pinaka-effective. And then, lastly, we have the implementation which is making the chosen alternative work and continuing to monitor how well the solution is being or is working. Dito sa implementation, it doesn't stop there. So, you have to monitor kasi baka mamaya success at the first place, but then again, merong problems in between. So, if you have encountered a problem in between, so proceed po tayo sa design. Magka-come up ulit tayo with different solutions. So, to simplify the explanation, so sa intelligence, it is what is the problem. Sa design, what are the possible solutions. Sa choice, what is the best solution. And then, of course, the implementation is the solution working. And also, can we make it better?
Okay, so let's proceed to the next slide. Information systems can only assist in some of the roles played by managers. So actually, In this slide, no, it discusses the idea that while information systems can assist in making decision by providing information syempre and tools for analysis ng ating mga managers, um, not all the time it can improve the decisions being made by those managers. And also, in this slide, there are five classical model of team management, which is the normal five functions. We have the planning, organizing, coordinating, deciding, and controlling. But the decision making of the managers, it's not just focused on this type five classical model of the management, but actually they are more focusing on the contemporary behavioral models, which is this is the actual behavior. This appears to be less systematic, more informal, or less reflective, but the real life observation of managers sees far more complexity in their managerial activities that leads to their decision making. Let's now proceed to next slide, which is the Mintzberg's 10 managerial roles. So this slide actually expands on the behavioral model of the managers, and actually it describes the Mintzberg's behavioral model of managers that defines the 10 roles. Actually, that falls into three categories. And these three categories or three main clusters are interpersonal, informational, and decisional. And then Henry Mintzberg actually defines this operating effort of managers in each role. So actually those behaviors of managers are very important or crucial for the components of the team to have its success or to achieve the success. And then the 10 roles are inspired by personal and syempre yung situational considerations. So under the interpersonal roles, we have the figurehead role, wherein a manager plays officially the role of a professional representing his organization in social activities and events. So kumbaga para siyang nagiging lead by example, or parang siya yung dapat laging mangunguna when it comes to certain activity for the company. And then the second role is the leadership, wherein it is a role related to the how we can get the people's motivation and inspirations. Syempre as a leader, a manager syempre must coach, support, and guide guide his or her subordinates. So dapat syempre as a leader hindi lang tayo pwedeng mando lang na mando. But at the same time, we need to help bring out the best in our subordinates. And last role under the interpersonal is we have the liaison, which is it is requested from a manager to build contacts with all the stakeholders. So syempre managers should oversee networking even syempre beyond their organization boundaries. So syempre napaka-importante rin sa isang manager to have a network. So as we know now this time, yung network is also we can consider it as a wealth. So particularly syempre if you're holding this position and nakikita ng team mo na si sir, si ma'am, ganito, ganyan. Okay? And then next is the informational roles. So under this cluster naman, there are very critical roles actually. So based on these roles, the manager is supposed to communicate, monitor, and managing the information at all levels. So it is also consisting of three roles. Una syempre yung the nerve center, which is the managers should have the information inside and outside their workplace. And then all this information syempre will help the managers to their decision making, particularly in evaluating their department from their own view and syempre from external view. And also part of their roles is being a disseminator, so they must know how to properly delegate when it is appropriate and when is the best time to to those to disseminate this important information to their employees, particularly to their subordinates. And syempre being a spokesperson, no, dapat din talaga sa kanya mismo manggaling yung pagtatransmit or kakascade ng mga information. So particularly para na rin siyang isang brand ambassador for their organization. And last category, as per Mintzberg, of the 10 managerial roles, we have the decisional roles. So for the decisional roles, it consists of being an entrepreneur, syempre behaving as one of the entrepreneur, or one of the management, can encourage syempre yung mga changes and creativity by leading the way. Kumbaga, if you have new ideas or if you want to have changes in the team, so dapat for the good yung inisip. Kumbaga, isa ka na doon sa parang isang sa mga owner na. And then syempre a manager role then is syempre a disturbance handler, diba? It should be he or she responsible to avoid any unnecessary disruption, na pwedeng puminto or magpabagal sa to get that goal or success. And then syempre the managers need to become a good resource allocator, diba? Syempre yung mga tamang pag-allocate or tamang provide ng mga materials, resources, tangible assets, particularly like yung sa technological, mga computers or anything units, and syempre for the financial side, and especially the manpower. And last is the being a negotiator. Syempre a manager must carry out the important negotiation within and outside the organization. So it's very critical for their part, no? Kasi syempre once you become one of the team leader or the manager, it will affect all the organization if you are not a good negotiator. And then there is a three main reasons, no, in investment in information technology do not always produce a positive results, no? And these are the information quality, management filters, organizational inertia, and politics. So una, syempre information quality. As we know, if we need a high quality decision, we should have or we should require a high quality information. But syempre there's no perfect systems din naman, or there's no perfect systems or IT. Like even we invest a lot of money, we cannot always guarantee that it can produce a high quality information. Pangalawa, management filters. Siyempre, managers have selective attention and have a variety of biases that it may reject, no, information depende dun sa kanilang view. So pwedeng kahit maganda yung output from the information technology or the systems that we invest, pero kung ayaw naman siya gamitin ng ating mismo manager, so it will not guarantee talaga ng mga positive results. And last, syempre, is the organizational inertia. As we know, diba, within the organizations, there are some strong forces that we call, no, or politics when it comes to decision making. So it might lead, no, for calling a something changes or major changes within the organization. And then we have high velocity automated decision making, no. So actually this slide looks at the growth of the systems for executing high velocity decision making, no. Actually such financial trading programs, and another example is the Google search engine, no. So it is made possible through computer algorithms, precisely defining steps for a highly structured decision. So some humans are taken out of that decision, like for example high-speed computer trading programs. There are trades executed in around 30 milliseconds, and if ever it requires safeguards to ensure proper operation and regulation. So let's now proceed to the business intelligence in the enterprise. So, business intelligence, this is the infrastructure of collecting, storing, analyzing data produced by a business. So, some of it, or example of these, are the databases, the data warehouses, and the data marts. So actually, this slide actually introduces the concept of business intelligence and analytics. So for the business analytics naman, these are the tools and techniques for analyzing data. For example, yung OLAP, statistics, models, and data mining. While business intelligence vendors are this is to create business intelligence and analytics that purchased by different firms. And it is very important then for us to understand that business intelligence and business analytics are products defined no by hardware and software vendors. And yeah, for next slide, sorry, we have the 6 elements in the business intelligence environment. So, una, syempre, data mismo from the business environment. Pangalawa, yung ating business intelligence infrastructure. Meron din tayong business analytics toolsets, managerial users and methods, delivery platforms like yung MIS, DSS, ESS, and syempre yung user interface. So as you can see in this slide, no, this is the illustration of the 6 elements in the business intelligence environment. So, for example, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, we have the data from the business environment mismo, like sa call center, sa website, the mobile devices, blogs, stores, suppliers, and government employees. And then, we also have what we call the business intelligence infrastructure, wherein andun yung mga databases, data warehouses, and data marts. And then we also have the business analytics toolsets like yung statistics method, data mining, OLAP, production reports. Okay, and then we also have managerial users and method like business strategy, performance management, balance scorecard, forecast. And then under the platforms, we have the MIS or the management information system. We also have the what we call the DSS, the decision support system, and then we also have the EIS. Okay, so last is the user interface, which is doon na makikita yung mga reports, dashboards, scorecards, desktop, mobile, web portal, and social media. And then we have the business intelligence and analytics capabilities. No, so actually our goal is to deliver accurate real-time information to those decision makers. So who are the decision makers? Probably syempre yung ating mga managers or yung ating mga top management or executives. So the main functionalities of this business analytics system, syempre una is the production of reports, di ba? Parameterized reports, parameterized reports, dashboards, scorecards, ad hoc query, search, report creation, drill down, forecast, scenarios, and models. In this slide, we have the sample business intelligence users, no. So actually this graphics looks at the different types of users and what they use business intelligence, no, or applications. So sa left are the power users, no, or actually these are the users who rely talaga, no, sa mga business intelligence system natin. And actually this is also divided into 4 main categories, no. So each category was placed, no, beside the types of reports it uses the most. So while for the right side is the casual users, no? So there are also some categories, no, and it also plays, no, along those type of capabilities that use most. For example, senior managers rely on most on the parameterized report, syempre, and dashboard, no. So yan yung normal talaga na tinitingnan ng isang mga senior managers. And then for the managers and staff, They are looking at the ad hoc inquiries, drill down, and on what we call the OLAP, no, which is the online analytical processing. And then while the business analyst, syempre, what they need in a business intelligence is for the forecasting and what if analysis, no. So syempre sila yung nag-aaral ng ating business, and then sila rin yung nagtitingin, no, what should we do next, or what they can suggest to the management. Then next, we have the different example of business intelligence applications. We have the predictive analytics, the data visualization, and the geographic information systems. So the data visualization tools, these are a tool, no, or this is a system that helps the users to see the patterns and the relationships, particularly in the large amount of data that also become very difficult, no, to understand if yung mga data na nandun is ipapakita sa atin lang katulad ng mga sinauna pa, tawag dito, puro list lang, no. So ang hirap niyang aralin and intindihin, and through data visualization, diba, mas madaling mabasa yung mga data ng ating mga managers. And then while the geographic information system, or the GIS, it is one of the category actually of the decision support system that using the data visualization technology to analyze and syempre ipakita nga yung data in a digital map, no. So particularly it was used, no, for decision that need yung pagiging familiar dun sa area or the geographic distribution ng ating mga manpower or any different resources pa. And then we also have the management strategies for developing business intelligence and business analytics capabilities. And actually, two of their main strategies, they have two main strategies, no. We have the one-stop integrated solution, wherein a hardware firms sell software that run optimally on their hardware, and also it makes their firm dependent on a single vendor or switching cost. While the multiple best-of-breed solutions, it provides a greater flexibility and independence. Marami kang nakakausap ng mga vendors. At the same time, it has potential it has potential difficulties in integration. So in this slides naman, no, in this slide, and actually on the next slide then, it will discuss the systems used by the different levels in a firm, no, for them to aid their decision making. So una, we have the operational or the middle managers. They need the daily basis, they need to monitor the daily business operations. So fairly, diba, they have structured decisions fairly structured decision need to make, no. So they are using the management information system, or what we call the MIS. Okay, so actually it's helping the managers na monitor and control business by providing informations like on firm's performance and address structural problems, and it typically, no, it produce fixed and regular schedule report now based on the data that okay. So for the super user naman, or what we call the business analyst, they are using more sophisticated analysis or customized reports, no. So for them, they need to use the decision support system. So the decision support system naman, actually it support the unstructured and semi-structured decision. So under this, they can use the model driven DSS, which is the for example, the voyage estimating DSS. They also have the data driven DSS, which is Some contemporary DSS are data-driven that are using syempre yung kanina binanggit natin na OLAP, which is the online analytical processing, and syempre data mining to analyze such large pool of data like yung business intelligence applications. And last is the decision support system, no? So the decision support system is a mathematical or analytical models that allowed varied types of analysis. And for the decision support for the senior management naman, no, actually this helps the executive focus on the most important performance information, like using the balanced scorecard method, no. So on this measure, outcomes are the four dimensions the possible needed, no, like yung financial report, business process reporting, the customer feedback or sales, and then the learning and growth. And some things to measure this outcome is through the KPIs, or what we call the key performance indicator, for us to measure these dimensions. So this executive support system actually utilize some of the methodology to determine which information affects the profitability and success of the firm, and how this information can be measured, no? Ayan. So, gaya nga na binanggit ko kanina, one of the popular methodology is the balanced scorecard method. This balanced scorecard framework, no, the firm's strategic objectives are to operationalize, no, along the four dimensions na nabanggit kanina: the financial, the business process, the learning and growth, and syempre yung ating customer. So, for the which dimensions, diba, is actually measured gaya na binanggit kanina yung KPI. So for the customers, you need to measure the delivery performance, quality of performance, their customer satisfaction, the number of customer loyals, and their customer retention. While for the financial, we need to check the cash flow, return on investment, the financial result, the return on capital employed, and the return on equity. While for the business process is the number of activities, process execution time, accident ratios, ayan, equipment downtime, yan, lahat yan kailangan natin i-check. And then the learning and growth, yan, syempre kailangan din makita natin yung investment rate, yung illness rate, yung employee turnover, and some are also checking their gender ratios. Ayan, so for the continuation naman ng ating decision support for senior management, no, they also use the business performance management, no, or it is translating the firm's strategies like in differentiation, low-cost producers, cooperation into the operational targets, and the KPI is actually developed to measure to measure the progress towards targets, diba? So dito naman it using also different methodology, no, are actually pareho lang sa balance scorecard, but it is more with the stronger and more explicit emphasis on the corporate strategy, okay, which is yung business performance management. And then the data that needed for the data produced for the ESS, the data needed for the ESS is the internal data from the enterprise application, the external data such as financial market databases, and the drill down capabilities. While the group decision support system, it is the interactive system to facilitate solutions, no, of unstructured problems by a group. Actually, it also specializes in hardware and software, and typically used in a conference rooms, no. So it is also interactive. Ayan, sabi ko kanina, computer-based system. Okay, and then actually it's making meetings more productive, no, by providing such tools like tools like for facilitating, like yung planning, generating, organizing, and evaluating ideas. They can also establish those priorities, and it can document meeting proceeding for others, within the firm. Okay, And then also it enables the increasing meeting size and increasing productivity ng meeting, and then it can promote collaborative atmosphere, and syempre can guarantee anonymity, and it also uses structured methods to organize and evaluate ideas. So actually, some of the types of problems that a group may encounter, diba, when they are trying to make a decision is what kind of decisions can be made as a group, and what kind of decisions might need for need to be made as a group. So this GDSS or the telepresence capability, was used rather than the physical group decision were we used when this technique were first developed.